Hello, my name is Arthur, and in this video we're carrying on with the model for platformer character. And before we get to rigging, we can do a little bit of materials and a little bit of adjusting, like his face landing directly on Z0 is not going to work out. So let's continue editing him to get him a little more proper here. So pull him up. We shift the middle mouse button to get a better view. We'll grab on the Z axis, so G and then Z, and we'll just line them up down on the X. And it doesn't need to be perfect. And we can also look at the eyes, and honestly, it wouldn't hurt much to try to get a little bit more eyeball here. So we'll use the L key to select just the eyeballs, look at it from a side view, and let's see what we can do with those. They'll probably pull out quite far still. We just need them to grow a little bit. While we have them selected, let's change their material. Let's change them to black. And that's affecting everything, but we'll just ignore that. Let's crank up the metallic on that, the specular, and bring down the roughness. And that'll make his eyes maybe have some glint in it. There's only so much stuff like this is going to show. Control I to invert the selection. We'll add a second material. We'll add a new material, and let's give it something in a bright green. So we'll assign that. And yeah, that's a little neon, but that might just work good for us. Well, geez, it might not hurt to consider giving some color in the mouth as well. Let's see, what can we do with that? Let's just try deselecting. So we're going to circle deselect. Most of them. Then we'll turn off X-ray. And we'll see what kind of selection we can end up with on that mouth. And, oh well, that deselected his entire mouth. So that's not going to work out. Let's see. How can I get that mouth selected? Let's try edges. And select edge loops. Okay, so now we'll circle deselect, and we'll circle deselect. And that gets us a bit of selection on the mouth. Let's see if we can get some more mouth there. Okay, side view. Grab. We're going to shrink that down. Just try to get a little bit more mouth. And it does not need to be perfect. Like, this is all about how it's going to look in the side view, and I figure that's pretty satisfactory now. So from there, we can pretty much go to rigging it. So how much time did I consume on that? Okay, so we have 10 minutes to do a rig. Let's tab. We'll look at it in wireframe. And to get up our dialogue here, let's see how tall he is. 3.84. So we're going to scale that to around 2. Around 2 meters is about right. So we can call that good. Zoom in. Shift add an armature and a single bone. We'll tab into edit mode, get the move tool up, and we'll pull that up to around there. Should be good. We'll pull this down. Now, I don't really know how much animating I'm actually going to do here, but we'll give them a neck, even though we may not use it. We may not, it's hard to say. Really going to try to keep things simple and leave animating up to people to refine, because I don't need to show that how to do that perfectly to convey how to make the character for this little game effort. So we extruded and extruded, and we're using the Z key to keep our extrusions confined to the Z axis. So with that in place, we're going to do some arms and some legs. So Shift A, we'll grab the whole bone, grab X 0.1. We'll Shift duplicate, drop that, grab X minus 0.2. Now, I build my rigging this way for a specific reason. That reason is I've had crashing mirroring rigging. I'm in Linux, and sometimes I get crashing. So mirror is one of the things that has caused me to crash. So we're going to rotate that by 180 degrees to get the bones more or less into the right, well, in the right orientation. This is the direction they need to be pointing for legs. So we'll just scale on X. Basically, we're lining this point up with more or less the center of the leg. And that'll have those bones pretty much centered directly on his legs. So if we look at that from a side view, it looks good. We can subdivide those, box select the middle, and just push them out into the knees. May not have hurt to have named these bones in advance, but I'll just put the naming convention on off video, and to save us the time on that, it's just naming some bones. So we'll add Control plus, we'll select the whole bone, grab X 0.1, Shift D to duplicate, grab X minus 0.2, Shift select the other bone, so we have both of them, rotate 180 degrees, and pull them up into the shoulder area. We'll scale X, pull them out until those points are more or less in the center of the arm, and then we'll pull the bottom of the arms up. So we'll look at that from a side view. Pull those up and Control plus, subdivide, select just the elbow joints, look at it from a side view, and pull those out into the elbows. So that's pretty satisfactory. We'll check on our time again. So we're at 9 minutes. We'll add in IK bones. Shift S, snap cursor to selection, add a bone. Shift S, cursor to selected. Shift A to add a bone. We can grab the tops of these bones, look at it from a side view, and shrink them down. We don't want to pull them through the other side of the themselves and invert them. So we'll just shrink them down, Control plus to select all. We'll zoom back some, and we'll just pull it back a couple of blender units more or less. That can be the pole bones. We'll add in the IK grab bones, Shift S, cursor to selected, Shift A, Shift S, cursor to selected, Shift A. Grab the tops of those bones, look at it from a side view, G to grab them, and just move them somewhere convenient. We'll select this one, Shift S, cursor to selected, Shift A, add a bone, look at it from a side view, Control plus, rotate by -90. No, that's wrong. Control Z, period, 3D cursor, rotate 90. We'll pull that up so it's in a more convenient location and shrink it down so that it just works better for us. Let's press the period key and get the pivot point back into median point because it's more convenient that way. Shift S, cursor to selected, Shift A. Grab the other knee, Shift S, cursor to selected, Shift A. Grab the top knuckle of these bones, or pivot. We'll pull those down, zoom back, Control plus to select the whole two bones. We'll pull those out a couple of blender units. That will be the pole bones for the knees. Control Z, Shift S, cursor to selected, Shift A to add a bone. Shift S, cursor to selected, Shift A to add a bone. Those will be our two bones for IK grabs on the legs. So we'll grab the top pivot of those, grab, and just put them somewhere convenient to grab. In the next video, we'll come back. We'll do parenting and IK constraints, and I will have put in name conventions for the bones. So a left-right naming convention so poses can be mirrored. And until then, take care.